think of pastries, do you think of chocolate cake, red velvet pastry, or cheesecake, brownies? Would you believe me if I tell you that this is also pastry? Welcome to another episode of Know Your Food. This is episode 2 of Elaborate Know Your Food on YouTube. And when I say elaborate, I do smaller versions of this on my Instagram channel, which is it channel or page? Page. Instagram page, thank God I'm fat. Pastry is a baked dish made of refined flour, some kind of fat. It can be butter, lard, or any kind of shortening, and water. Now you might be asking, then how is it different from bread? How is it different from cake? Pastry has a higher percentage of fat when compared to bread. Now there are different types of pastry. It can be sweet or savory. When you look at it, you see those samosa wraps, those are called phyllo pastry. Now this what I have is puff pastry. You know of churros, right? That's made of choux pastry. Eclair, churros are all made of choux pastry. So different combinations of fat, flour and water gives you different kinds of pastry. Today we're going to focus on puff pastry, and I want to talk to you a little bit about how this puff pastry gets these layers. How is it flaky? How is it made? Let's visualize puff pastry. Think of this, or if it's easier, think of a croissant, think of mortar puffs, or think of chicken puff or meat puff, or what they call patty in the north of India, right? Now puff pastry gets its unique texture, the flakes, a process called lamination. Lamination is when there are layers of dough separated by fat. So you see a layer of dough and then fat, a layer of dough and then fat. Think of that like multiple layers. Now, so when you bake, what happens to the fat? The fat melts. When the fat melts, it makes these thin layers of dough very crispy and flaky. That's how when you make a puff, these layers become separated with that butter or the lard that's melting in between and adds to that crunch and flake. Now, how do you properly eat a puff pastry? You just eat it and let it fall all over you. That's how you enjoy it. Now you know.